A ver, let's see. I have my notes today. Oh, okay. So I have some corrections to the video I did yesterday about the offer letter that I got from this startup that I was working on. So first of all, they're not CPUs. CPUs are central processing units. What AI uses, they're called GPUs or specialized uh, APUs, or I don't know how they call them nowadays, but GPUs as a graphic processing unit. And OpenPose wasn't developed by MIT; it was developed by CMU. I had a coworker that graduated with a master's in deep learning, and he was a director of deep learning, and my title was principal engineer. But I mean, this guy was so smart, like I'm telling you, smart, but he didn't know how to drive, so I had to drive him from work and to work, and then I got to know him a little better. He was also his heritage was Mexican too, but he is what you guys, some of you will call whitexicans, but he's still, to me, he's still Mexican. And then we used to joke around it like, hey Miguel, like I almost guarantee you would not guess where I'm from. And then I didn't guess at first. I thought he was Korean or something like that. I had to manage when I was working at the startup. I was working with around 5 people. It was a team of 5, and then 3 of them had a master's degree. Of course, I'm a dropout out of college, and I have 1 undergrad. But here's the kicker. Here's when sometimes when you're comparing yourself in terms of titles, or whether you should be in a team or you should not be in a team or working with a certain type of people, all of them understood the theory of what they were working on. Very smart individuals. But without my work, without me stitching everything together, their work was useless because they didn't know how to present it to a customer, or how to sell it to a customer, or how to sell a solution to a customer. So you need you need the help of everybody, right? It's as a team. Without me being what they call the DevOps engineer or embedded engineer, that's why they put me principal engineer, because I was carrying so many hats and I had to understand different technologies to make sure that their work, their best work, was showcased and the customers will get the best. It's not an easy task. Being a manager is not easy. But here's what sometimes having a plan, and then I'm not too much of a believer of like F your mood, but sometimes when you need to get things done for a work, then you do have to get into that mindset and then turn that switch on, is where F your emotions, let's get the job done. Should you stay with that philosophy all the time throughout life? No, you got to find a little bit of a balance, because the mode of getting things done, and then I don't care who gets in my path, I'm just gonna run you over. I think it burns bridges and it erodes people their own way. But hey, when you have to put food in your plate, sometimes that mentality is the one that gets you to get put food on your plate. So when you're in business and when you're dealing with sharks, F your mood is a good strategy. But when you're over here hanging out with your friends and then trying to have a good time and have a family, then that F your mood, you need to switch it off. You need to find a balance. Some say like you shouldn't seek work-life balance. I think that's BS. I think you should, if you can, and if it's allowed at your job, because people perform better when you take into considerations their feelings about some stuff. Now you're given the opportunity, and if it doesn't get you anywhere, then you can discard that. But at least give them the opportunity. Some say it's a waste of time. I call it making your employees feel seen. Now, after you make them feel seen, and they're not responsible for their own actions, so you cannot, and they're not hold themselves accountable, when you cannot hold them accountable, then you can kick him off the curb, because at that point you already gave him the opportunity. I believe on giving everybody the opportunity Of course, there's sometimes that you should not give anybody the opportunity, but then that we're talking about extreme cases, and I'm not here to just spread fear. I'm just here talking about how to live a decent life. I'm not in the military, and I'm not over there in wars or being a CIA agent, always thinking the worst. There's people that dedicate their life to that. I respect them, and then sometimes they do help us save lives. But that mentality, uh, you cannot carry across society. I think is unhealthy. Anyways, that's it for today.